Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Chainlink, and we're going to be taking a tour of its valuations against the US dollar, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Now, you guys know I am a fan of Chainlink from a very fundamental perspective. And 2021 was certainly not the year for Link that I thought it would be, to be completely clear. Okay, I did think it would perform better in 2021 than it did. And a lot of that comes from what we saw Link accomplish in the bear market. Okay, so let's go take a look at that really quick. So during the last crypto bear market, that more or less lasted from, say, early 2018, and then we put in the bottom around December of 2018 for the entire asset class. But then we still had, a bearish type market mixed with an accumulation phase for about the next year or so for Bitcoin. And I mean, again, if you don't believe me, you can go back and look. This was sort of the end of the 85% drop. We did have some nice moves by Bitcoin, but it didn't stop us from just coming all the way back down in March of 2020. Okay, so sideways movement, some bullish times, some bearish times, but really we didn't get things cooking until later on in 2020. So going back to Link, while Bitcoin did this sort of move where it went up and then it came back down, Chainlink, on the other hand, just got things moving. And one of the reasons I've enjoyed having Link in my portfolio is just watching it systematically outperform a lot of the cryptocurrency market earlier in this cycle. Okay, much earlier in this cycle, and we saw that happen basically from the end of 2018. Link was just on a tear up through August of 2020. Through August of 2020. So basically, from December 2018 through August of 2020. Link was, simply put, it was just taking names. Okay, it was just taking names one after another. And one of the things we mentioned, though, that I was somewhat, a little hesitant by was, we know that Link can run like crazy when Bitcoin volatility isn't crazy, right? And I didn't know. I didn't know what Link would do when Bitcoin went parabolic because we had just simply never seen it before. When Link launched, it was at the very end of 2017, and at that time, we only had a little bit of data, right? It launched, it came down over the course of a few weeks. Bitcoin put in its peak in December, and Link went up during that time, but it wasn't really a whole lot of data to work with. And this was the chart that we're looking at, right, for Link going through the years and just seeing it systematically climb through the ranks. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some key valuations that I think are important to watch for Chainlink. Because I assure you, no one's getting out of bed for a $24 Link. I know it's easy to get excited about some of these small pumps, but don't lose sight of the fact that, in mid-November, Link was trading for $35. And in mid-August of 2021 or early September, Link was at $35. And in April of 2021, it was at $55. So with that said, I know people are getting excited about this pump that's happened for Chainlink over the last couple of days. But again, have some perspective on it, okay? We still need to actually go on a run, right? We still haven't actually put in a higher high at this point, okay? So what are the key levels to watch for Chainlink as we continue to navigate through the cryptoverse? So I would say the first thing to look for is for Link to get back above its bull market support band against the US dollar. And right now, that ranges from approximately 25 to 26.4. 25 to 26.4. So let's just call it $25 to $27. So if we can get above $27, we're at least back above the bull market support band. Another interesting thing that we've looked at with Link, and if you are a Link Marine, as I say, you've seen this before, right? The crab market for Link. It's brutal. When you take a step back, it looks like just some massive uptrend, right? And imagine telling like an index fund investor who's lucky if they can just continue to get 10, 15% year over year. Imagine giving them this chart and whining about it. And I mean, they probably would have a few choice words for you, because I understand that Link has not done well recently. I understand that a lot of market participants only joined crypto in 2021. And so all they know is they may be bought up here and now it's down here. They don't really care that, last year it was over here or the year before that it was over here. All they care about is what's happened in the short term. But Link has experienced these types of markets before, okay? This was a good example of these types of markets, like this range right here, okay? And what you'll see is that we sort of had a major run-up, but then following that major run-up in the summer of 2019, we then came back down, we came back up. I mean, it was just brutal, right? It was brutal. And this sort of started that very brutal phase for Link when the $4 threshold was, in order to sustainably be above it, it was just almost unimaginable, right? Because we just kept going sideways from June of 2019. We came up to about 335 in October. Then by March of 2020, we temporarily broke it, still back down. And then we didn't really get above it and hold it and start moving higher until June of 2020. So it was about a full year at that range, where the valuation of Link was between about 143 and maybe about $5 at best. Okay, and then it broke out in late summer of 2020. And you guys remember the DeFi summer of 2020. Hopefully we get a DeFi summer in 2022, but we'll see. Right. So if you look at this type of pattern, not to say that it's going to play out exactly, because it won't, and it already hasn't. I mean, it's already deviated, but it does go to show that we can experience these types of crab markets for Link, where we go sideways for a very prolonged period of time. Now, while the USD chart is always fascinating, and that's what a lot of market participants care about, I would argue that we should be better than that. And the reason I say that, again, is because opportunity cost is a real thing. Okay, it's a very real thing in crypto. It's a very real thing in this world. If you're putting your dollars in asset A, then you are missing out on putting those dollars in asset B. So yes, it's nice that Link is up from a year ago. If we go back to, say, January 2021, we're up from a year ago, but also we know there's a lot of opportunity cost in that, okay, because a lot of cryptocurrencies did better. Now, I do think, well, let's just say I hope that 2022 is a better year for Chainlink. Now, going back to the opportunity cost discussion, the Link Ether valuation, I think, is the key metric to follow. And we've been following this on the channel for a long time now. And until we break the downtrend, there is opportunity cost. Okay, I mean, it is what it is. I don't like what it is, but it just is what it is, if that makes sense, right? I don't like that it's in a downtrend, but it is in a downtrend. And I would argue, until we break above the bull market support band on the Link Ether valuation, there really is no reason to get your hopes up quite yet. What I would like to see, I should say, is for Link to actually surpass this threshold, maybe come back down, hold it as support, and then start moving higher. This is what I would want to see with Link in 2022, okay? If you go back to Link's history, we were mostly below the bull market support band, the Link Ether valuation, for quite a long time. In the summer of 2018, we broke above, and then we mostly just held it as support, okay? And then since then, the Link Ether valuation has been in a brutal, and I mean brutal, bear market for Link Ether. Now, Link USD is still 2x up from a year ago, so it's hard to, from at least an investing point of view, it's hard to get too upset over 2x gains, though again, in a bull market, you'd be hard pressed not to pick a cryptocurrency that could go up 2x in a year in a bull market. But the Link Ether valuation has in fact been in a bear market. And if you don't believe me, just take a measured move from the top down to where we are today, and it's down 87%. And to the bottom over here, it was down 91%. 91% drop. So, of course you could argue that, going down 90%, you could always make the case that, well, has it officially hit rock bottom? Will it start moving up? It's interesting if you look at this on a linear scale. I mean, it just looks like a classic bubble that went up and then has been completely deflated. And now we're potentially in that despair phase where we're trying to sort of claw our way out. And I do think that Link will claw its way out of this brutal downtrend. I do. But the key thing to watch, right? The key thing to watch is, can it break the bull market support band, right? Can it break that and at least stop the bleeding? I mean, go sideways at the very least above it. Just stop the bleeding and show that the opportunity cost of it is not too high. You can see the valuation of Link right here against ETH is 63.18. The bull market support band on it ranges from 68.55 up to 69.80. So basically, you want to see Link Ether's valuation get to about 0.007 and then hold it. Okay, so keep that in mind. You want to see Link Ether's valuation get to approximately 0.007 and hold. And then that would start looking a lot better for Chainlink. Until then, we fully understand that it is in a downtrend. Okay, and that's what I'm looking for. Now, a slightly more optimistic chart is Link Bitcoin. And the reason I say that one is if you look at this one, we're seeing a high, a lower high, a lower high. Sort of, we have this base down here that we've been bouncing off of for quite some time. And then here, we're looking at hopefully a potential breakout. If you go back and watch my Link videos from 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I said back then that by the beginning of 2022 or by the end of 2021, it's going to be a decision time for Link Bitcoin, okay? Because it seems to me like we're either going to break to the upside or we're going to break to the downside, right? So at least in the short term, things are looking relatively okay. We are above the bull market support band for the Link Bitcoin valuation, but again, we know that we need to get weekly closes up here and then start climbing higher. So watch Link Bitcoin as well and see if we can maintain this value against Bitcoin and then continue to move higher. Because right now, again, we still remain in a downtrend. So again, I know, the market for Link in 2021 was not what a lot of us wanted it to be. Let's hope that 2022 is better. You guys know the milestones we need to hit. We need to break the downtrend and start moving higher here. For Link Ether, we need to get above the bull market support band, which is around right here at 0.007. And then for Link USD, we need to get back above the bull market support band, which is over $25, $26. So let's just say if we can get to 27, hold it above the 20-week SMA, and then start moving higher, that would be ideal. You could also draw some conclusions or look at some of the similarities between, say, that move. It's not a carbon copy, right? But this whole move over here and this whole move over here. And so the most ideal scenario, I think, at this point would be if we're in some phase like this where we're about to pop up, go sideways for a while, and then maybe continue our journey. That would be the most ideal scenario, I think, for Link at this stage. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. We also do the premium list into thecryptoverse.com. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.